So we're back for another conversation with a friend in the Aikido world. I'm talking to Peter Bernath Sensei, seventh Dan Shihan, and member of the technical committee of the United States Aikido Federation, as well as the chief instructor of Florida Aikikai. Nice to see you today.
Hey, Jonathan, how you doing?
I am good. I am very good. So it's almost like the new year. I feel like this year's been very interesting to say the least. From an Aikido standpoint, I know we were talking months and months ago. What's going on in your dojo right now? Do you see any light coming through the tunnel?
Yeah, slowly, you know. Like even though the state has opened up down here and you're supposed to be able to do anything you want without restrictions, although that's a little unclear about social distancing and stuff. At the dojo, we're practicing with masks and we're not doing contact aikido. We're working with weapons and other basically the classes are stretching and breathing and taisabaki and something to do with weapons, whether it's kata or like kumijo or, throwing with the jo a lot, that type of thing. So when we started, there were only about, well, I don't know, I think five of us, who were coming in fairly consistently. Either people were afraid of the virus or they didn't want to do this kind of practice. They wanted to do contact. That's what everybody, or a lot of people were lamenting about. And then it just slowly started to grow. More people started coming in and saying, hey, geez, this is interesting or fun, because I tried to make it that way and make them feel like they're coming to an Aikido class. And they are. And so it's grown now. I think probably we have about 40 adults, coming in. We still only have 5 classes a week as opposed to whatever we had 10, close to 20. Um, but so we have, people intermingling in the classes, and we have a class limit, and everybody's registering before they come in, and
Yeah,
it's starting to grow as well. We started off with 2, and now I guess we're up to about 15 with them totally.
that's
And
great.
so people are starting to come in. They're starting to get back. It's starting to feel like a dojo again, but I'm still at about a third of what I was before the pandemic. So
Sure.
it's a pretty big hit as well. You know.
I want to go back a second. I should have done this initially, but an anniversary, if you will. It's been almost a month, would have been winter camp, a little bit over.
Yeah.
And that's where I first met you and Penny, 5 weeks into my Aikido journey. So I kind of like I've known you for 20 years, but like as the years have gone on, we've talked more and more. And as I've done stuff like media wise with the committee and that kind of thing, it's been a lot of fun. But I have to tell you though, like every year when I think of winter camp, I think of sitting in the lobby of the Ocean, of the Sky Hotel. Yep. Is that it's Ocean Sky, right?
Ocean Sky. Yeah.
Ocean Sky. And you walk in and you usually have a grin on and you come up, you give me a hug, and then you always make me laugh. And it's not the same joke every year, but you're always smiling and happy. That's what I think of when I think of you, in addition to taking your classes, of course. So
Well,
I'm looking forward to next year and I'm optimistic that
well,
a year from now we're gonna be back there.
I think that's amazing. You got that feeling from me because I'm usually half out of it.
Well, if I had greeted you in the morning, it was that. If it was nighttime, it was a little different. It depends on when I came in. If it was Thursday night or Friday.
How many beers we had so far?
But lots of fun. So you guys are managing like most of us are, and you're making it happen. And I'm pretty optimistic though, literally, like because I've done a bunch of these, and the versions of the training have been consistent yet somewhat different, right? Depending on what state you're in the region and the country. But I just talked to a physician friend of mine who's on the front line. He's a traveling ER doc, and this vaccine that they just rolled out. I mean, is very optimistic that by March or April, most of us, beyond the first line of people that get it, will have it. And by summer, he feels things will be pretty normal again. Again, you'll have restrictions. And then, for example, I was asking my dojo, I was like, well, what happens if somebody has documentation that they have the vaccine? Then they come in and there's normal training. But if they don't necessarily have it yet, or they choose not to get it, then obviously the normal parameters for screening will still exist with temperature and releases and waivers. So I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I think the whole country certainly wants to get back and get things opened up and get back to normal. I I have hopes for the vaccine. At first, when I was, hearing, oh, they're rushing out a vaccine, I'm like, Jesus, there's no way in hell I want to take that,
Sure.
Swear, by the way, on this.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, good.
This isn't NBC.
Okay, good. um, so I was like, no, I don't want to do that. What are the side effects? And now my feeling is that I'm gonna, if all the CDC and the major medical authorities are saying it's good, I'm going to do it. And I think it could be, for me personally, it would be a game changer if I don't have to worry about getting sick myself or having someone else get sick.
Sure.
And all of us being able to get back, it's going to change everything. And so, I'm 70 years old now, so I guess I would be one of the ahead of some people at any rate to be able to get it. And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of have the same feeling. I don't know if we're going to be able to like have summer camp, because you need all the lead time to set up hotels and do deposits, and you don't know what's going on in the spring of how many people you'd get in the summer. But I do feel that winter camp could happen.
Yeah.
By the summer, we'd know, where we're at and whether I'd feel confident enough to be able to make the investment to do it,
Absolutely. Well, again, back to regions and states and the way governors work. I mean, as disadvantages there are in Florida with certain, belief systems, the advantages is that would be the ideal state to kick something back, because provided the hosts, i.e. you and Penny, feel comfortable, you don't have as much red tape to deal with as like Jersey or New York, for example. So that's another just caveat that I kind of look at as being optimistic that we'll be able to train like that again. And again, this to me, this conversation is not about trying to convince somebody to take the vaccine or not take the vaccine or how they feel. Everybody's influenced by their own, belief systems. My wife's in healthcare, and so everybody's going to have a different opinion. But I think for the Aikido community, it's I feel like we've turned, past that mark now where we can start to visualize that we can be back training again. I want to ask you, in this difficult time that we've all experienced now, going on 10 months, what can you name one positive thing that's happened for you as an Aikido teacher, dojo cho, anything that you can share that you feel has, maybe added value to your life or made things stronger?
Yeah, actually, I kind of see it personally as almost like a blessing in disguise. You get into routines of things that you're doing, and my routine of traveling and being at the dojo and this, you can become a little, I don't know, lethargic, or, it gets, it's the same old thing that you're doing. And, sometimes you feel like you're getting burnt out, especially if you're traveling, hitting the road a lot, and then trying to come back and keep the dojo up and all that travel. Anyway, for me, this was like a reset. I felt like I was able to reset my Aikido. Everything stopped completely. I couldn't just go and do the other things I was going to do. So I had to go back and start to think about how I'm going to make classes in the most fundamental ways. You know, what can I benefit from this? What kind of practice can I create, even like for myself, you know, that would be beneficial? And I just found that, you know, rediscovering, you know, just working on my body with ukemi and stretching, I saw myself, you know, improve and get better and get sharper. Same with Tai Sabaki, to become more balanced, more in control of myself, you know. And then I just kind of expressed a lot of that through the weapons work as well, and tried to think a lot about what I had learned from weapons, but more importantly, like how this related to empty-handed technique, which really became a strong focus. I didn't want to just learn a bunch of katas. I wanted to integrate and use weapons as a tool for my overall growth in Aikido, I guess. And I mean, maybe we'll have to see. The proof will be in the pudding, I guess, when we get back onto the mat and we're throwing each other. But I feel more balanced. I feel sharper. I feel more solid. I feel my timing is better. All of those things, as I said, it was kind of a reset and concentrating on the most fundamental, simple things. And I think it's made me and my students, I can see it, especially in newer students who had come in and then they went through this process. I can really see them. I can see their posture. I can see their balance. I can see the sharpness that's coming out of them. So I feel that we're all going to make a huge, if you did this and you did this seriously and took what you were able to do and really worked at it and really searched, it makes more come out of you, makes you put more into it. And I think people can see, you know, a real positive growth in their Aikido coming out of this.
That's a great point. Excellent. You know, as we're consumed with so much media, especially not being on the mat as often as we'd like with this thing, people are watching more video, there's more interaction on Facebook, YouTube. So this video pops up quite often on my feed, but I just saw it today. It was a 1984 New York Aikikai demonstration, some huge arena. I think it wasn't Madison Square Garden, but Sagana Sensei, Kanai Sensei, Yamada Sensei, you were there, I believe. You're taking your Kimi, especially for the Randori part. I think was the last part Yamada Sensei did with two ukes, and you were one of them. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Hunter College, I think.
College. So much fun to watch just before people like me started to see, you know, just what you guys were doing then and where it's evolved. It's amazing. It's fun. But what's made me chuckle watching it is this relationship that you have with Yamada Sensei. And I've seen it, people see it, and it's very, you know, strong, but there's a little kind of comedic element. There's always laughing and smiling between you. And you attacked, I guess he was done and he put his hand up and you attacked and stopped. And then he stops here and then he finishes the throw. And it's like, I've seen that a lot. Do you remember that at all?
Oh yeah.
What was going on in your mind at that point? Finish?
I used to be like a greyhound, you know?
Yeah.
The rabbit took off, I was just boom, gone. So I would just go after him like a banshee. And so wouldn't quite maybe see the subtle thing that we're supposed to stop at that point. That's happened a few times. Actually, he knocked out my 4 bottom teeth here. I had to get them replaced.
Oh no.
Because of getting hit in the face one time by him, along with other things, but that's another story. But that was a very exciting demo. That was really cool. And a lot happened with that. And, you know, these guys, you know, Yamada Sensei and Kanai Sensei and Tamura Sensei was there, and Sagano Sensei and Toei Sensei. These guys are at like the height of their careers, you know, and they were just in their, I guess at that time, I guess they were in their late 30s or 40s, and they were just powerhouses, you know. I mean, it was just to see some of the things they were doing. I love looking back on that era and that time because they were just amazing, you know. And we got to receive a lot of that, you know. And so it was really that was kind of a golden age of it all, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Um, yeah, and I remember I was at a Midwest Aikido Center seminar with Black Belt Seminar when you guys rolled that out 04, 05, 06, and you were teaching with him, and there was something similar that happened too. And it happens. It's fun. It's fun to watch. But what's your like? So if you look back over the years, I know everybody knows the story and where you started, and then he sent you to Florida, and you started, the dojo and that whole thing, and your family. I've been on the other side of the camera capturing some of this, especially the 50th at winter camp. So, you know, this is hard, and it's hard to put like a one answer or one word on it. But, you know, how would you describe for those that maybe don't know, like, how do you describe your relationship with Yamada Sensei today?
Oh boy. Uh, you know, it's like I have been incredibly closely involved with him for most of my life. And I don't know. He's a combination of a million things, my teacher, a Shihan, uh, a friend, father figure, a lot of different things. And there's been over the year, I don't know, there was something about us that clicked. He liked doing things with me and using me for Ukemi, and we traveled together. So we've had so many experiences. It's just a very, very, very close relationship. And I don't know. He's just is who he is. And I just feel like, um, I don't know. I just talked to him this morning, sent him a gift for Christmas, and he said he got it. And we're just chatting a little bit. Just great to hear his voice, makes me feel as if everything's okay. And I don't know. What did you ask me? What's our relationship?
No, I just, it's multifaceted. I know, but I think a lot of people don't know, just how deep it is and how far it goes back. And, so I was just curious today when you look at things, you look at a video and you're up and coming and you're, like you said, the Greyhound. And then now fast forward, you're seventh Dan Shihan, technical committee, training. Are you at 50 years yet? Close? Over?
I think I'm 48.
Or yeah. So I mean, it's a little, it's a very much of a cycle. It grows and it's evolved into bigger things. I'm assuming as years have gone on, and your responsibilities increase with the federation, that kind of thing. So that was really it. I know personally, you guys have done a lot together, and I've heard Madison talk about him and Penny. So
Well,
super cool.
I guess that's the thing I like a lot is that with Yamada Sensei, as well as with, the other Shihan, you get, when you know people for as long as that, there's so many personal things that happen, and you get to know each other as people. And you get shaped by each other, I feel like I've been shaped certainly by Yamada Sensei a lot, and influenced by the relationships I've had with the others. But he, I don't know. It's, everything else is like, it's like a family, right? And when you're a little child, everybody's taking care of you. And as you get older, you start to help out and take on more chores and help out with the younger ones and all that. And that's what we all are, And that's why Harvey's who he is and where he is and things like that, and all the guys and all the people, men and women who are involved in Aikido. We've all kind of gone through from the little fledglings up into we're kind of tending the garden a bit ourselves now and trying to get up some good crops, So it's kind of funny because it's really been a lifetime, and it's like, an Aikido life, and things change and evolve just the way it is in everything we do on the mat. It's kind of an interesting thing, um, slow, you don't,
Yeah.
you know.
So let me wrap up with this because Josh Gold just I think posted this or reposted this, and we all know this that run dojos that even before COVID, there's been a little bit of a decline in traditional martial arts and Aikido for that matter. I think till you get to a certain point, you're like, I'm going to train no matter what. I love Aikido. It's grabbed me. Sometimes that happens to people on day one. Sometimes it takes years. So my question to you is, having been around for a while and run a large school, what's the message you can share with my generation and those behind me to try to, keep growing Aikido, keep trying to cultivate, the younger people to stick with it and stay with it, because I think Aikido is one of those things where it takes 10 or 20 years to really see the value, like the long-term value, the huge value, the relationships and that kind of thing. So I think there's a stat like less than 2% of anybody that starts a martial art actually reach Shodan, something like that. So what do you say to those out there to stick with it for the long haul, because it will pay off dividends in your life?
Well, you know, it's I don't think you can, Aikido is extremely unique. It's very, very different than so many other types of martial arts that you could practice, and, I don't think you can compare it to anything else. I don't think you can compare it to, people say, oh, how are you going to get people in the dojo? Everybody wants to do MMA or something like that. Well, everybody doesn't want to do that. There's something incredible about practicing on the mat and being serious, and the interchange between you and the other person, the shared energy that goes on between us, in so many ways and in subtle ways. And it just becomes it's like, you come in and you get recharged, right? After every time you come into the dojo. And I guess there's a lot of things. You could play racquetball or something and you feel good after you practice, your endorphins are up and all that. But there is something about Aikido it's just so multi-layered, the physicality, and then the mental aspects of it and the spiritual aspects of it. It's such a rich, fulfilling thing. So I think it's just a matter of, if you like it, if it does something, stay with it, try to keep your body in good enough shape that you can continue to enjoy it. It doesn't mean you have to be doing something at 50 that you could do when you were 20. You evolve with it, but keep everything moving, keep it loose, try to get to just keep going and look deeper, and more subtle things will come your way. And I think you don't want to try to compare it. You don't want to try to compete with other martial arts. Keep it separate for what it is, one thing that always happens is people go like, oh, is Aikido really effective? Can you really use it in a fight, kind of thing. Shit, I mean, I've had tons of guys who are cops, they use it all the time. I have other people who just used it spontaneously in situations that happen. Of course it works. You know what I mean? These the grappling techniques that we do they're centuries old, and every kind of martial art has some variation of it,
Right.
But the timing, the movements, the instincts that come up, those are things that other martial arts like to come to Aikido for, to try to develop those traits, So I think you just continue to do it. I think it will find its place in whatever world we're living in, because there's something that's very nurturing and wonderful about Aikido, and I think it will survive, as long as there's people like you and me, and one of your younger students and one of mine and people like Yamada Sensei still out there, yeah, it'll survive. You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. You brought up a good point. I wasn't even thinking of this, but like you have other styles come in to learn certain aspects. And one of the things I think that we do quite uniquely better than anyone else is meet the ground, right? Think about in a fight, how often it ends up on the ground. So the fact that, these other guys from punching, kicking styles don't know how to fall the way we can to protect ourselves, that's really where the injuries probably occur. So we get a lot of that too, getting people coming in and just learning how to fall just so you can train, right, and get up again. So it's interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, I also think there's something inherently, there's meaning, there's something in the idea of taking the part of the attacker and defender in every practice you do equally,
Right.
as opposed to just being the offensive end of something, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
There's something else in the knowledge that you learn from that encounter that you know, it's another a whole nother half of the learning process. You know?
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, do you have any final thoughts, any messages you want to share out there with the community that we haven't talked about? We're going into a week before Christmas, New Year's coming up. Um, I'm optimistic I'm going to see you next year. Anything you want to share?
I think you know, what we're everything that's happening, right? Well, it's like this, you know, you do Aikido and it takes you years, you know, to get anywhere in it, you know? And it's just a slow, incremental kind of growth, you know? But if you stay with it and you're sincere, it blossoms into some beautiful times in your life. And this is difficult right now. But I think it's just a matter of doing what we have done before. You just persevere. You didn't feel good. Got up and went to class anyway, you know, and then you felt better and you're glad that you did. You know, if anybody who does something more than 20 years, for Christ's sake, there's got to be some kind of stubborn determination in there. So if we just keep that attitude, you know, do what we can, accept what is, you know, this is the moment that we're in. We're always talking about living in the moment, being, living like that, right? Well, here's a chance to do it, you know, be there, deal with things, see what it is, do the best you can, and keep on striving. And there's light at the end of the tunnel now. So I think that with vaccines and the rest, we're going to be back to where we are, but and hopefully a little bit stronger, you know,
Yeah.
sharper and a little more self aware. I don't know.
As you're describing that, I'm just thinking like Randori, basically, like don't know what's coming, you got to handle it, you got to act, right? And what you described is life Randori 8 months ago. We have to adapt and modify and
Yeah,
just go with it. We don't quit. We don't walk away and say we're done. We just do what we can. I like that. Really good stuff. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Nice to see you as always. I'm looking forward to seeing you Saturday on Zoom. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Happy holidays to you and your lovely family.